Good evening and welcome to another episode as we count down to the 2023 general elections. My name is Chima Christian and this is your favorite program on Newsband Television. As we count down to the elections, there are challenges with PVC distribution and there are also challenges with acquiring the printed, newly printed or recolored Naira notes. To help us discuss PVC distribution challenges, and the new Naira note strategies, and whether they are attempts to compromise the 2023 elections, is Dr. Tony Nwankwo Nwezigwe. Dr. Tony Nwezigwe is a scholar, a civil rights activist, and an African scholar at the Institute of African Studies, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. He is presently in exile in the Republic of Philippines. Dr. Nwezigwe is the author of 15 books and over 80 published articles in edited books, academic journals, public affairs news journals. Dr. Nwezigwe, our guest, is also an expert in translational history and diplomacy, and he is also versed in ethno-religious conflicts. Dr. Nwezigwe, you're most welcome to our program.
Thank you, Anchor.
So we are looking at the issues with PVC distribution. What are you hearing and from the field reports you're getting, both on social media and on traditional media? Could you paint a picture of what the PVC distribution efforts of INEC is like as of today?
Well, thank you very much. The PVC is just one aspect of the cyclic process of sabotage of the coming presidential election in one part, and also intent to rig the election in favor of Atiku. The PVC problem is just one. There are 9 of them lined up by the authority in conjunction with INEC and the Ministry of Communication and Digital Technology to either mar the election or declare victory in favor of Atiku. And I can line up. Let me just, if you give me time, let me just mention one of them. First of all, we have talked about—
Yes, please, feel free.
Yes, we talk about this issue of bimodal accreditation, voters accreditation. You find that it is a problem. It is full of problems there. Let's start from the collection now. We just have less than a month for the election, just about 3 weeks or so to the presidential election. And today we're having people fighting to collect their right to vote. We've also recorded evidence of people's cards, people's unclaimed cards being dumped in sockaway pits, in drainage pits. And INEC is all aware of it, because for those people who dumped it to have access to them, they must have had connection with INEC. That is so. It is a clear process of undermining the electoral process, or in the alternative, trying to gerrymander where their preferred opponent is likely to have opposition. What I mean is that try to stratify, to beat down the number of voters, among those areas where their preferred candidate is likely to lose the election. And that is what they're doing. That is one. Secondly, we've had occasion of importation of voters, importation of aliens to register. Of course, I'm aware of this from my experience. You have a lot of aliens from Cameroon, from Chad, from Central African Republic, from Niger, and from Mali, all of them Fulani, streaming in into Nigeria for the purpose of this election. And if you had listened to the commandant of immigration, the commandant or controller of immigration, Kaduna State, just yesterday, he was relaying his arrests of over 100 aliens with voters' cards. They're aliens from foreign countries. So who brought these people? Who issued them these voters' authority when they are not citizens of Nigeria? We have not asked that. The beavers about. Some people say, oh, we did no rigging. The rigging, remember that when you're talking about beavers, the rigging has to do with transmission. At the point of transmission of our results, you will vote. When you vote, where does your vote go? Where does it go? Your vote, where does it go? It doesn't go straight to INEC. It doesn't go straight to INEC. Let us even have been able, apart from the present Osun election, governorship election, which revealed the inadequacy, which revealed the manipulative nature of the beavers. I've also followed and carefully studied the last presidential election, 2022 election in Kenya, where the same kids, they call their own Kims, where the same thing was able, they use it to manipulate, even though at the final analysis, the Supreme Court did not discuss it. There were evidence that they also employed foreign hackers, foreign IT mercenaries to hack in favor of their candidates. These issues were raised in Kenyan election through their, yes, in Kenyan election, but the Supreme Court didn't look at it because definitely in Africa, it has never been happened. And it is even difficult for any person declare the president of a country in an election to finally be removed from that position. It has never happened. And anybody thinking that if Atiku is appointed, you go to court, and then the Supreme Court will now say Atiku is false. It won't be possible because there are certain security interests that will even threaten the judges. And we're now talking, the critical matter about beavers is this. When they transmit, remember, when they transmit the voter data, the data of the voters, of the vote, it will not go direct to INEC data. It goes to a private server. It is the private server that manages the election, carries out the synchronization before taking it before taking the final result to INEC server. Nigerians have not asked which company, which IT company is a private contractor that will manage the synchronization of the coming election. We have not asked that question. And this server is being instituted in conjunction with the Minister of Communication and Digital Technology, Pantami, who we know is an avowed jihadist. He's the person managing it. And this is where the election can be manipulated. And at the end of the day, they will ask you to go to court. Yes. So one of the problems.
Let me probe you further here. Can I come in? I have heard four things from you now. One is the issue with PVC distribution. I have heard four things from you now. One is PVC distribution. That wasn't substantiated. You weren't able to paint a true picture of what is happening and why you think what is happening is contributing to the end you're pointing at. That's number one. Then two, I hear about foreign entities coming into Nigeria. We are able to reference only one statement by the controller of customs in, I think, Kaduna State. Then you also talked about INEC not transmitting directly, but rather relying on foreign or on a third-party vendor to transmit results. And then you've also claimed now that the managing director of, I think, NISTA, Pantami Malam, is let jihadist. So let us separate these issues and stay on the ones we can substantiate. First, what is the problem with the PVC collection and how is this affecting the credibility of the 2023 elections? Let us stay specifically to PVC collection.
The problem of PVC collection is the same question you asked. What is the problem with new Naira collection? New Naira. What is the problem?
We will have time. This conversation,
yes,
this conversation is for an hour.
Issue,
I want us to unpack. Hold on. Could you please hold on, sir? We have a conversation for an hour. If we are conflating issues, it's difficult to arrive at help your guests understand what we're discussing and to make a coherent logic. Why don't we spend bit by bit to discuss these issues? You talked about 9 of them. Can we unpack the 9 of them one after the other? Let us talk about the PVC now. What is the problem with PVC and how is it affecting the impact, the credibility of 2023 general elections?
Well, the point is that the problem of PVC is sectional. It is sectional sabotage in matters of distribution, because in Upper North, in Kano, in Sokoto, there's no problem of PVC distribution. In fact, all the people, all the voters had their PVC distributed beforehand in their homes. The problem of PVC is only in the South, and it is out. And the major objective is to differentiate the Southerners, mainly Christians, who are likely going to vote against their preferred candidates. And
do you have data? Do you have data? Do you have data to back this claim up? Because as of today, I'm not sure that INEC has released the data of PVC's collection and a state-by-state or regional breakdown of that data. So how did you arrive at your conclusion that the PVC distribution efforts is seamless in some parts of Nigeria and made not to be so in other parts of Nigeria? What's informed? You're a scholar, so you're expected to reference materials, to suggest us, to point us to verifiable things that will help us critique or evaluate the claims you're making.
There is difference between writing scholarly reports and giving interview. You want me to quote? It is there before you. If you read your daily papers, if you read, like there was one I sent to you. I don't know if you can play that video. I sent video to you about PVC being dumped in Sockaway. I sent the video to you. I sent it to Elomba. That is practical evidence. PVCs being dumped inside Sockaway. I sent the video to you. I sent the video to Elomba. And you're still asking me questions. So far, there are no newspaper reports that the problem we're having in PVC distribution in the South is the same thing in the North. There's no problem about that. In fact, what is going on what is discreetly going on in the North, I mean Upper North, is voting application training, in-house, that is in-house training. The agents moving house to house, telling them how to thumb print. That is what is taking place in the North. So asking me to get evidence of what you see yourself.
Who is doing this training? Sorry, who is doing this training? Hold on. Who is doing this training? If a particular political party has deployed its agents to go on voter sensitization, how does that affect the credibility of the elections? Is it not free for all political parties to deploy their agents to go to sensitize? Or are you alleging that it is INEC that is
doing this? We are not talking about alleging. If a political party has access, is given special access to INEC voting materials, voting machine.
Like what?
No, listen. INEC, you have PDP, you have Labour Party, you have Action Congress, you have other parties, and if one of them is given access to INEC voter materials to go and display, how do you describe it? What empirical evidence do
you are a scholar. You are a scholar. You are a scholar. I am a journalist.
Excuse me.
And when I ask you questions or when you make claims on the platform, you are expected to justify those claims. You are making a lot of claims now, and you have not done a good job at justifying them. You are claiming now that a particular political party has been given undue access. These are some of the things that could challenge. Nigeria has had issues with post-election violence. And so if we're making claims, I am not arguing your claims, but I want to query you as to where you got this information from and whether this information are verifiable. If you are claiming that INEC has given a particular political party access to materials, what are those materials and who did they give it to? And how did you arrive at that information?
Excuse me, gentlemen. You are a journalist, and most of these questions you are telling me are on the public domain. They're on the public domain. You are telling me to give you evidence that the Beavers machine is taken to private homes by a political party, given to them by a political party, and they're all shown on the net. They're all shown online. And you're telling me to give you evidence. You are telling me to give you evidence that a few days ago, excuse me, you listen, so that because you don't have the facts, I'm giving you the facts. So listen to me before you ask me questions.
But you're not doing a good job at giving the facts.
No, you are not doing a good job. You don't interject
to see that, for instance, that you have seen something on the internet.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
Hold on.
I am listen.
Can I send the ground rules now? No, please,
I am not in examination hall here.
Please.
I am. Excuse me. I am not.
If you are going to be making claims on the platform,
simple.
Are you expecting us not to ask questions? That you have seen something on the internet does not mean that all the members that are listening to you here
I am not supposed to be arguing with you.
And that does not mean that our audience who are watching this video on YouTube and those who will watch it after the live stream if you have seen something on the internet and you want to refresh that material here, why don't you paint a good picture of what you have seen? Describe the material so that even people who have not seen the same video can go to the internet and see if these videos exist.
Which picture? 2 days ago, I sent a video incident of cards, beavers cards, voters cards being dumped, and most of them were Igbo names. I sent it to Elomba. I sent it to you, and you're asking me to give you evidence again. Which evidence? How many of those? How many of those bands?
A lot of things.
How many of them do you see in the north?
You are saying that Pantam is a terrorist apologist. You are saying that INEC has given machines and undue advantages to some regions. I want to agree with you, but there is no fact. You're making a lot of claims. And when we press you to,
excuse me.
Can we say on what we can prove going forward into the program?
Excuse me, which facts? First of all, who has access to those cards? Is it central bank?
Are we discussing cards now? Are we discussing cards now? That is why I want us to separate issues.
No. You are not taking it.
When we are discussing cards, let us discuss cards. When we are discussing
we are discussing cards now.
When we are discussing card now.
Who has
to a political party? Let us discuss
discussing card now.
Okay.
We are discussing card now. Whose duty is it to issue those cards? Voters' cards. Whose duty? I'm asking you. Whose duty is it to issue voters' cards? Tell us, because you're on the record. Whose duty is it to issue those voters' cards? If it is your duty to issue voters' cards, and part of those voters' cards are dumped in the pit, abandoned, who is to take the blame? Because you're telling me about evidence. I don't understand what you're talking about. Evidence. Who is to blame? You are telling me.
You're suggesting that INEC has mismanaged.
You are telling me I'm a researcher. I'm a proven historian and researcher. And anything I write, I prove it. So when you're asking me a question, you ask me something, you can prove as well.
Okay. Let's move on and make progress. May I please invite Ken Abim for 2 seconds to ask your questions as to perhaps to see if this question will set further direction to this discussion. Ken Abim, can you please unmute your microphone and ask your question for 2 minutes?
Okay. Good evening, gentlemen. I think while we are trying to talk about the cats, of course, we all saw cats that were dumped in some certain areas even before this latest collection of PVC. But there's also a very strong evidence that people have their PVCs lie in INEC offices. They are not being collected. For example, if somebody's PVC is dumped in Sockaway or something, it's the duty of the person to look for the card and request for a fresh card to be issued, because there was an opportunity for people to make requests if your PVC is missing, or you have a mutilated card and all those things. So I think the focus should be getting people to go for their PVC, because there are a lot of PVCs even in the southern part of Nigeria that are not collected, owned by Southerners. So I think that's where our emphasis should be, not on the PVCs that were not that dumped. Whatever happens to those PVCs, donors can request for fresh PVCs when the opportunity was made possible for people to do that. So let us not dwell too much on those ones. Let's not dwell on getting people to go for their PVCs now that the time is open, because there are a lot of PVCs even in Southeast that people are not collecting for one reason or the other. That's what I wanted to I want us to refocus our attention to what is possible and leave what we cannot control. What we cannot control is if those ones that are dumped, whoever owns them need to go and ask for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for your contribution, Mr. Ken Ambime. Dr. Mwezigwe, Ken has suggested that you should perhaps see if you can
raise
invite
your voice
people.
for me? Yeah.
Yes, please. Did you hear did the contributor hear clearly? And if you heard him clearly, could you please respond?
Yeah, there are issues. You see, I don't know if we are really following the trends. If you are really following the trends about this PVC, yes, collection. People ask, yes, there are areas that are telling people to go and collect. We also have evidence of people being asked to pay before they collect. We also have evidence of people being stopped from collecting by INEC officials. We have evidence of especially Igbo people in Lagos being stopped from collecting their visa. These are issues. It's complicated. And what we are saying is that with few weeks to general election, any election that takes place without the people, without majority of people collecting their people, that election cannot be treated as free and fair. It's not a question of proving scientifically, empirically. That is not all. After all, election you are talking about is not about empiricism.
What is the way forward? What is the way forward?
The way forward. You want me to tell you the way forward here? I have the way forward for me in other areas is, first of all, this election has already been rigged in favor of Atiku, whether you like it or not. The way forward is what we do next. If by 27th of February, Atiku is announced as the president, it has been rigged by model system. It has been rigged by their system, by their computer system, the electronic system, INEC, BIFAS. The issue is what we do. By 27 articles are announced. I'm stating it now, and you say I've said it before. Because I've made something earlier. We are talking about, I've said it earlier. I raised the issue of underage voters. People did not carry it on. And they came and said, oh, we have removed it. You have removed underage voters. Tell us the number of underage voters you removed from Kano, from Sokoto, and tell us from the balance, from the total number of voters, voter list you published, what is the balance now after removal? They've not told us. And people just relax. And you think these people will not vote? Because
to fact check your claims, INEC has said it's removed about 53,000 of fake registrants from the system. And after they have removed 53,000 names from the register, that the balance is 93 million. INEC had given that figure. Now, if your contention is that 55,000 is not enough, then that could be allowed. But to say that INEC has not given the figure, that would be a gross misrepresentation of the facts.
It is not correct.
Has said that they removed 53,000 people.
No, sir. INEC has not removed. INEC has not removed underage voters. INEC removed double registration. I follow I in particular follow the process of that voter education and voting part. INEC has not touched underage voters. They only dealt with double voting, double registration, which was what their data captured. Not with under, and that was done before the issue of underage voters became viral. So you are not right.
No, that is. I'm not sure you're getting your facts correct. Let me say something.
You are not. I'm telling you.
The internet and verify it.
I'm telling you.
When
you are not right.
When INEC concluded their continuous
with the underage voters, you are not right.
Can I? Okay, people here can go and verify.
Yes.
When
Let them
INEC
talk.
concluded their voter registration exercise, they invalidated the registration of 2.78 million Nigerians. 2.78 million Nigerians, and after that, they did what is called online display of registered the voter register. And after that online, Nigerians reported fake and underage registrations. And after that reporting exercise ended, INEC came back and said that it has successfully removed 53,000 names from the register. And it said that those 53,000 names were people who were reported successfully that they were fake and underage registrants and that they shouldn't have been qualified to be on the register. Now, after doing that, INEC now issued what is called the final copy of the voting registers to the political parties, to the 18 of them. And INEC says that out of that, they had 93 million. And they further broke down the state-by-state regional analysis of those voter strengths. So if you're saying that the 53,000 they removed to you is a tiny drop of water compared to the ocean of possible underage voters, that is a different argument. But to now claim that they have not done anything, you may be running in foul of the fact.
You did not follow the INEC process of analysis. You didn't follow it. Their own reaction to underage voters was that anybody who sees underage voters going to vote should stop them and should report. That was their response to it. Anybody who sees them should report. And if actually they remove them, would they tell us to report? How can I leave my place and go to Kano and stop underage voters from voting? What I'm telling you is that your own report is faulty because they did not tamper it. They only dealt with double registration, and that was what they dealt with. And that was that.
Have you seen the list? Have you seen the? Well, I wanted to ask whether or not you have seen the list of the final copy of the voter register that was issued to the 18
I'm a
political
researcher,
parties.
and I talk from my research experience. The
Okay,
INEC has not touched.
Elder.
INEC has not touched. Let them get the list. If they have removed, let them show us the list. I'm telling the way they are going to rig your election. You are trying to cover them.
Elder Tango Gochuku, could you please unmute your microphone and make your questions or contribution in under 2 minutes? Elder Tango Gochuku.
Okay, good day, Lumba team, and good day, brother person in the house. Dr. Nwezibu is making a point. From the one I've been telling everybody who want to hear that we are facing fix the election. The election is fixed. And with the atmosphere and things happening now, justify everything. Like it was up before. See, technology has no limit. The provider is somebody, a human being, that will provide the network, not God. Before it was up, they cannot delete someone's, but now was up allow admin to delete what someone else puts. So Nwezibu is making a point. In a country there's no database to prove or to justify somebody's age, all is imagination. And with dishonesty involved, left and right. Now, the whole system is working towards their aim. No money in people's hand, no fuel, people are frustrated. Why should all the timing showing that they are not honest for the election? That's my contribution. So if you look into Dr. Nwezibu, what he's saying is real. These people are not honest with what is going on. And even people, there's a way to systematically frustrate people. People who want to collect their voters card are systematically frustrated. And someone with insecurity and everything, some people feel they didn't keep away. So thank you. That's my contribution. All is not well in short.
Thank you, Elder. When we have, let me provide a balance before I bring back Dr. Nwezigwe to the conversation.
There's nothing I can.
On a personal level, I have worked on some of the issues we're discussing today.
I've told you areas.
Let's hear
Doc, could you give me a minute? On a personal level, I have done some form of research work around the areas we are discussing, and I hold my opinion differently, and those opinions, I've published them. That is different. If I'm doing an opinion writing as a journalist, if I'm doing an opinion writing, I am at liberty to express my opinion and publish them. And my opinion on the general elections has been published. As of today, there is a research that says that 68% of Nigerians don't trust the INEC. That is a poll that was conducted and was released last 2 weeks.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
So that is the given.
Excuse me,
so
gentlemen.
Now I am sitting today not as a, could I please conclude my point?
Excuse me, gentlemen.
Now that I am an anchor to a program, I may agree with you.
If you can't hear me, we can't hear you.
Saying. Okay, Nwezigwe, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you now.
Oh, okay, perfect. So I'm saying that when I sit in here as an anchor, my job is to drill you that if you're making a claim, I have to drill you to bring out the evidence of your claims, or at least to make a coherent argument so that the person at the other end of the listeners will now see that you've laid down a solid groundwork. But I might agree with you in principle, but you're not sounding convincing. You're just mumbling issues. You jump from PVC to BVAS to the INEC giving sensitive materials to a polling unit, to a particular political party, to some of these things may be happening, given that 68% of Nigerians don't trust the INEC.
No.
What I'm asking you to do is to use the platform that has been given to you to make a coherent and a logical argument for these things. And where facts are needed, you bring up the facts. Not when I query you about the facts, you go on the defensive as if I'm working with INEC.
Excuse me.
Can you try to... Okay, let's move away from the BVAS from this. You listed 9 items. Please, someone here,
first of
microphone or her microphone.
Gentlemen, so you are the anchor. You are not the person presenting this idea. I'm the guest. I'm being the guest. You don't have to tell me to argue according to your own dimension. No. Even in scholarship, people have their own perspectives. You have your own perspective. I have my own perspective. When you become a guest, when you come as a guest, not an anchor, you can now bring in your own perspective. But you don't force me to take your own perspective. You don't tell me to adopt your own approach. What you're talking about Nigerian situation is holistic. It is holistic. Holistic in the sense that if you are talking of the present election now, things that will make it not to work are interconnected. You have the currency issue is connected. You have the fuel scarcity is connected. You have your BIFA is connected. You are bottleneck in collection of voters. They are interconnected. You have the arms, the kidnappings, the killing. They're all interconnected. So it is holistic. It is something. I'm a historian, and when you're treating such things, you don't isolate them. I don't approach social science approach or scientific approach. No. So you don't tell me your idea, you did research, you did this, so I must adopt it. No. I've now told you.
I believe that you are mistaken.
My own purpose of coming here is what? Is on voters' collection. But this voters' collection cannot be treated in isolation of others. So telling me you have done research and so as you take your own idea. No.
Can you, for instance,
please? And that is insulting.
If you are here and you ask you that you make a claim and you will not be asked questions, then there is no business discussing. If you're going to appear on a program, if you're not if you go on Arise TV and make these claims, they will ask you questions. If you go on Channel TV and make these claims, they will ask you questions. If you go on any platform and make these claims.
Listen, I've gone many interviews, both
Well,
in
we are not
NTA,
achieving progress
both
now.
in channels, both in
Can we
AIT,
discuss other? Can we
both,
discuss other
yes,
areas
and yes.
of
So
this
this is
conversation?
not. You are not the
Today,
first
you
one.
have talked about
Where
a
is
lot
he?
of-
Where?
No. He's not the first one. Go to my
Where's it go? We thank you so
YouTube
very
channel.
much for attending the
I've
program.
done
Hold on,
interview
hold on.
in international
I will
television.
We will.
You don't
Let
come
us
here.
enjoy this
Yes,
program.
please.
I off.
You ask me question, I give you the idea.
Wednesday, we thank you so very much for attending our program, and this is where we will draw the curtain. Unfortunately, we are not able to have a meaningful conversation this evening because you have refused attempts to substantiate your points. You may have a good argument, but your inability to substantiate them and make coherent arguments for those questions have unfortunately brought this program to an abrupt end. I thank you once again for your time, and then look forward to seeing you when the opportunities are ripe for conducive conversation. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
So the program is over.
Leave him, please. He doesn't know anything. He's just coming there to. These are the people supporting Fulani people.
Hello, good evening. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, people.
Yeah, please, can we?
I've never had it this bad before. I think all the ones
I'm surprised. I'm just joining the meeting, but I'm disappointed on what I'm listening to. We are here to make progress, but I'm disappointed. The argument.
Even the allegations were so weighty. How will somebody
It's not
just come and
raising their hand?
I expect the
lecturers have been raised in favor of INEC, and you want us to believe it without asking questions.
It must give room. Somebody talk. We hear them.
Can you please stop the streaming? Only you can stop it now as the host. Stop the streaming, then we can discuss.
Hello. Please, can we make progress, please?
No, I am not talking again. I can't talk with him. I need another
argument
anchor.
will not.
Let another person discuss.
Can you stop the live streaming?
Can I come in?
I am not going. I am not taking anything from that young man. Let another person come in. The first person. Yeah, he's not the first person that has interviewed.
Excuse me.
Dr. Wezigwe, when you are saying something, we are listening. You made a point. But if somebody press you, don't act to
Can we listen?
Don't act to that tone. Now, he pull you out. Excuse me, you are the one helping him now. You could have allowed him to talk, to say his own, then he come up
I can't do anything with that young man.
You are even getting support.
I can't do anything with that young man.
Excuse me, you prove some.
He's a small boy to me. In this struggle.
Yeah. Even you write up, I have told you, what you are writing is okay. When people challenge you, continue writing, don't address them. Because it's a crisis management system. When people attack you too much, they attack you to drop you. When people continue attacking you. Like now, you carry a program. I saw you in some WhatsApp forum. You write something, people started attacking you. The system of attacking you is to distract you. A good writer will continue writing without replying to anybody. I've told you this. I don't know how to come up. What you are saying, there's an element of truth on what you are saying. But cool your temper, and everybody the whole world will not say yes to you.
Tango, I don't argue. Tango, leave that one. I know what kept me where I am today. I know what kept me. And my own, I've been talking about Nigeria, not today. And what I've been saying has been coming out.
Now.
What I've been talking has been coming out.
Excuse me. You are presenting as something.
Yes, I don't know.
You can't play music